All right, if you take a look behind me, you'll see exactly why we put so much time into our trip prep. We've got a good portion of the First Due Overland fleet parked out here today at headquarters, and getting this much hardware off the grid, down the trail, and set up to camp safely, that doesn't happen by accident. It definitely doesn't happen just by winging it. It happens because of the digital groundwork we lay before anyone ever turns a key or pushes that start button. Welcome to the 6th and final episode of the Digital Scout series. We decided to step outside the studio today and the command center because it's time to talk about the payoff. In the professional world, a mission isn't actually over until you conduct the after-action report. Today, we're looking at how the tech stack we just built over the last 5 episodes actually translates to the dirt. We've taken you from the broad stroke reconnaissance of iOverlander deep into the 3D terrain and land data of Onyx Off-Road, through the pinpoint site vetting of campspotter.io, and finally into the live team coordination of sitrep.io. So today, let's talk about what happens when you combine all of that into one seamless workflow. For reference, we'll be using a past FDO trip that we just completed for reference.
All right, so actually, instead of covering a past trip, or I might jump around here a little bit, but so we're in SITREP. This has, like we talked about in our last episode with Tim, this is our primary planning tool now for our trips. So we are going to come up here to our trips, and we're going to touch on the Frontier Loop here real quick. And so this is what, from the planning standpoint, what it looks like. This trip, it's just from the data filming, it's a little under a month away. And I actually have started building this out quite a bit since we're less than 30 days away. But what's super nice, and there's actually been some updates to SITREP since I filmed that initial episode with Tim. So this is what it looks like now. So we have basic title, brief description, the dates and all that. And then so we have our crew members, our full crew list. And then we have this announcement tabs over here. So this links to the shared Onyx folder that I have with all the waypoints and all of that. This is because we've had some people that have been curious about gas prices and all that once we get out of Washington State, which, fun fact, across the border out of Washington into Idaho and Montana in gas drops at least $1.20 to $1.50, depending on where you're at. Going down a little further, I actually started building out our route and our itinerary for the trip. So we have all of this here. This is our first day of camping. And so we go, and each day I've literally built out each of these days and itineraries. So it's nice because you zoom in here to the actual map, and it basically maps out everything here. So as we go, we know where we're going. Super beneficial. And then also to let's see, I don't know if it's gonna do anything. I don't know if it's had a chance to import these yet. It has not. So we can look at this here in a second. And we haven't built the menu out yet, and we haven't really built out. I'm still working on building out the exact gear list and some of the other things, but this is basically what it looks like in a nutshell, built out. And then so let's go back to trips and let me see if it will let me do. Okay, so like this was one of our recent trips that we did. This was the Olympus Rally weekend. We did this a couple weeks ago, and this is a completed trip. So it was nice because it was able to give me the exact guest list. We had everyone, go in and sign up and join. And so it was great from the planning standpoint, from our end, from the FDO team, because we did community meals. We were able to see what our head count was going to be. The announcements tabs, this came in really clutch from, it's almost like a message board. So all the attendees, they were able to log in, and instead of me having to send out a group chat message, which I still did just because we're still transitioning from the group chats into SitRep because not everyone kind of understands all that, and not everyone because SitRep doesn't send push notifications yet to attendees. We still utilize group chat to send out the hey, check SitRep for the latest updates. But I was able to put an update out and put these updates out leading up to the event for food sign up, or I guess menu item needs, spectator guides for the event, the shared folder again for Onyx, and then just general housekeeping. I think it was the day before, or yeah, the day that several of us left. And then again down below here in the route and itinerary builder, I was able to actually I notated our meetup spot, and this actually what is awesome about SitRep is the meetup spot for this trip actually changed. Originally, we were going to meet down in Puyallup, and then literally the last minute of Thursday morning, we called an audible and we met someplace else down here in the Lakewood area, and then convoyed out to the camp spot. So it was super, super nice. We were able to do the turnoffs, the camp spot, and all that, and then same thing. The basically the stages for rally races and all that, and then day four was just a return home day, so there was something on that one. This is where, and then actually, okay, well I don't know. Let me see here. Well, it may not update because it was in the past. It's thinking. We'll come back to that in a second. Yeah. So it says it's 0 now because it's a past date. But what was super cool about this though was that as as the trip was coming up and even the weekend of the trip, our camp scores ranged, I want to say from high 80s into the mid 90s camp score. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. That video, the episode of that weekend should come out here in the next couple of weeks. And as you'll see in those video clips, it was sunny, and I want to say Saturday got up to like 72 at camp, which 72 in mid-April, I'm not going to complain at all. This is actually, so let's see if I can dive into this a little bit. So this is where Camp Spotter really shines, and this is what was awesome is, so we were able to go in here and designate meals. So like Friday night, we did a walking nacho bar, and so it was awesome because we were able to go in. We did the ingredients, what we needed. Tim, I know, I believe he's actually working on this to where, yes, it will do the menu, but you see all these menu items right here. Now these are just bullet points. I believe there's an update coming for SitRep where these will be individual, where attendees can sign and will say, hey, I will bring tortilla chips. Hey, I will bring ground beef, or I will bring sour cream. And so that's, but again, this is something that was awesome where we were able to go and we had our, these quantities are definitely off. But let me see, does this one updated? Yeah, no, these quantities are off now because I had this set up to where like our head count, I believe, was 21 people. So this was set up to serve 21 people, and it populated that. I'm assuming that since it's in the past, it's not showing that now, but it was super beneficial. It was a one-stop shop, and it was that visual. It was basically that visual cue for our attendees, going, "Hey, here is the menu. Here is what we are providing, or here's what our meal plan is. Contribute, bring ingredients that complement these meals," and it was super beneficial. And that was actually, let me see if I can actually pull this up real quick. Right here. See if this will load. So this is what we had used actually. So, and this is something that I actually sent this to Tim as reference, and so that he can basically build this into SitRep and into a future version of SitRep to where it can be integrated, and we don't need to use Google for that. So, but yeah, let's see if I can find SitRep again. So, yeah, this is basically what the finished product looks like for a trip, and it yeah, it's been a game changer. SitRep has been a game changer, and it's nice too because if I go back to the Tetons trip here, it this has been where I have compiled everything. So yes, from the scouting standpoint for iOverland, we've used iOverlander to scout some of these camp spots down here in the Tetons and in north of Yellowstone. We use iOverlander to scout those spots. I added them to Onyx just so I could have that visual representation, where on the map and route planning, what is close to route and all of that. And then Camp Spotter integrates into SitRep. I'm not sure why it's not populating down here right now, but it does, because as you can see, it says it's powered by Camp Spotter. So all of these campsites and everywhere where we're going will have that camp score integrated into, or everything in SitRep that is classified as a campsite will have the Camp Spotter scores run for that, and so that'll populate down here for the Camp Spotter score. And then, and so that's what's nice is now what I can do is, yes, I can, up here in the announcements tabs, I have the Onyx folder linked. I have, the spreadsheets for fuel prices and all that linked up here. But realistically, what I can do is, and what I have done is, everyone who is coming on this trip, they have this link to SitRep, and they can go and all they have to do is open this event, open the SitRep link up, and everything that they will need for this trip is in one place. I have the gas stations on the map. I have the camp spots. I have the touristy stuff, the breweries, the hot springs, the scenic destinations, all that. I have the campsite in Yellowstone, the campsite outside of Tetons. I have all of that pinned here in SitRep. So when we're out in the field, all we have to rely on is, all we have to utilize for the most part is SitRep. Now we'll still have Onyx up. This will still pair with Onyx, especially because Onyx for land ownership and all of that. We will still utilize the two primary apps that we will utilize for this 11-day trip is going to be Onyx Off-Road and SitRep. Just because we all use Onyx. We rely on Onyx for certain data like land ownership and the route building. While SitRep does build a route, the Onyx route building allows us to basically go in and customize that route a little bit more when needed. And granted, a lot of this driving, for this trip primarily is going to be, well-marked, maintained roads. But there we'll use Onyx for the off-road portion just to make sure that, hey, like I mentioned in the Onyx episode, just verifying that, hey, this is actually a legit trail, not a hiking trail, that we're gonna try to drive up. So, but yeah, that's basically the workflow for a trip. That is the FDO workflow. So with that, I will throw it back to Shane outside, and yeah, we'll wrap this series up.
All right. So as we wrap this 6-episode series up, I just want to be clear about one thing. This is the First Due Overland workflow. It works well for us, but that doesn't mean it'll necessarily be the exact blueprint that you have to use. The whole idea behind the Digital Scout, it's more of a mindset, and it's also about being proactive rather than waiting for things just to kind of go wrong in the field. So the biggest thing I can recommend is grab these apps, explore them, take a weekend out and utilize them. Use iOverlander to scout an area you haven't been to before. Use Onyx to, 1, make sure that it's campable. 2, use the 3D view to see if your camp spot's got a view. And with Camp Spotter, use Camp Spotter just to see what kind of conditions you're up against, whether it's just going to be super windy, whether it's going to be sunny, if your score is going to be a 70 or a 60 or 90 and above. You want to aim for 90 and above because usually better conditions. And then last but not least, SitRep for all the coordination for your team, for your camp crew, whoever it may be that's going with you. It's a great tool to utilize for all of the camp logistics. You know, and at the end of that weekend, maybe you only need 2 of those apps. Maybe you find a better way to link, to link them all together and utilize them for your crew. Before we officially wrap this series up, I really need to take a second to thank all the guys who helped make this series possible. From the FDO crew to include Abby, Eric, Jared, and the creators of some of these amazing apps that we've utilized, like Makila from Camp Spotter and Tim from SitRep. Just want to take a second. Huge thanks to all of you for making this series possible. It was awesome to get the schedules together, sit down, whether it was in person or virtually, and walk through all of these amazing apps. It has what has upped our camping experience as a crew and what we've been able to provide to our trip attendees, and we couldn't have made, the series would not have been possible without you. So I hope that you guys, the viewers, found those apps as informative and those videos as informative as I did. And yeah, that is a wrap on the 2026 Digital Scout series. If you missed any of the earlier episodes or you just want to bookmark them for your next trip, the full playlist is linked right here up in the corner of the video on your screen. From everyone here at First to Overland, thank you for tagging along. Thanks for watching. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, and drop a comment down below letting us know which of these tools you're actually excited to try out. I'm Shane with First to Overland. We'll see you on the trail. We've taken you from the broad stroke reconnaissance of, nope. Stop, go back up, pause. Shut the
Come on, man, you needed to use that one so bad.
I mean, it'll be deleted scenes. Welcome to the 6th and final episode of the Digital Scout series. It's a beautiful day. Mother. Whoa. Oh look, it folded itself up.
There's one thing to do.
No, it folded itself up, we're good. So the motor's stuck, but we're good. Oh. Read it, Eric. Look.
Outro.
I want to be clear. All right, so look, I want to be clear about one thing. This is the First to Overland workflow. It works for us, but that doesn't mean it will necessarily be an exact blueprint for you. So the whole digital, nope.
What are you so aggressive for?
I know, because I've had,
You're about one thing.
because I've had, no,
You got one shot.
you got one shot, one opportunity. Give it everything you got.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, did you capture it?
There we go.
Save.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I saw you walking, I was like, mother.
You already ruined it, so.
Before we officially wrap this series up, I really need to take a second to thank all the guys who helped make this series possible. From the I'm Shane with First to Overland. We'll see you on the trail.
Yeah!
And they only took 10.